And you could just see Makumo's face. Alistair. Because she was just like, "O tlo nkenya matlho pela batho." I don't know. That was the lesson. I've pulled that face many times. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a review for Married at First Sight, Mzansi, the South African version. So this is literally officially my first video doing these things, and I had no intention ever of actually watching this show because I've watched all the other ones, couple of them here and there. The US one in the beginning, when they were actually counseling couples and helping them instead of making entertainment. Long story short, I was not interested. And I know South Africa tried it before, and I actually watched that one. And it was such an epic fail. But like now, fine, they're appealing to black people. Ikomzansi. I saw like a few clips, of the first episode. And I was like, I don't know if this is really gonna hit. Literally was bored. Came across episode 5, and I was like, all right, we're getting into something that's making sense. So I'm gonna give it to you as I see it. So welcome, and I hope this is as entertaining for you as it is for me. We're trying creative pursuits. And so, I want to preface this by saying that my intention and my goal in reviewing this show and others is so that we can use these reality, because guys, scripted, produced, let's just be clear here, right? But using these reality shows as lessons and examples that we can use in our own lives, right? To always come back and ask myself, well, what would I really do in that situation? And yes, there'll be some judgment, there's going to be some shade, because for me, I want to keep it as me as I possibly can, but also just respectful, understanding that, these are people who've put themselves out there for whatever reason, with whatever intentions, to be on the television screen and to entertain us and to teach us. So my goal is for us, and I include myself, to honor that and respect them, while also, we've got to just call it like we see it when it's happening in our eyes and we seen it. So this is season 5, episode 5. I don't know what the title of the episode is, but we're about to get straight into it. So we start with Sebenzile, and he's out at boot camping with other children, lifting weights, scorer mode with all of them. Great, good, lovely. He gets back to the apartment. There's Boitebo doing nice breakfast. I wonder what dijo tse di rekwa ke budget ya mang, because people are eating nice, eh? Great. Croissants, had some mimosas going. I was like, good for you. I don't know if that's like Scora meals, but like, maybe it's the weekend and it's his cheat day. Anyway, they sit down for breakfast. Then they start talking about other couples, which I think is normal in life. But obviously, the producers were like, talk about whoever, action. So we start. Boitsepo says that she's concerned about Zitobile and Tammy. And it's because, at the ladies' night, the night before, Zitobile was very withdrawn. She wasn't really answering questions and, engaging with the rest of the group in conversation. So she was very concerned about her. Then Sebenzile is like, yeah, for him, that was the couple he was also worried about. As a side note, guys, banna. Liditaba. They are gossips. Don't let anybody else tell you that they're not. And yes, I'm using a general term for all of them. But men like news, gossip, just like everybody else. Please don't be fooled, because one of our 7 is asking ka style, and I know these things because, side note, my dad is the same way. You'll be telling him there's an event ko kai kai. He doesn't want to go. Where's the funeral? It's gonna be too long, Maybe he'll just come thing and at the lunch, but like 2 hours is the max, or he's not coming. That's what you're gonna hear from this man. But let my mother come home from the event. Then he starts with the 50 million questions of, okay, so no nalimang. oh, okay. And then what was happening? And you can hear these questions are pumping her for information while he's sitting there smiling, entertained by all the stories that she wants to tell. But it's very cute. I love it. I think it's like a way that couples bond. Guys, as long as we're not like dragging people and being malicious, but like we all talk in our couples about other people. It happens. So please, I don't want to hear at the reunion, how could you be tepo with your man? Because you know what? You did too. Anyway, so they talk about Zitobile and Tammy. Worried, worried, worried. Buitepo says the door's open. Then Buitepo goes in on Makumo and basically says that she's lying about the state of the relationship because out in the public, she's giving this image that things are perfect, but behind closed doors, she's busy saying that Tabang's messiness is drying up her cooch, which is a real thing. It can happen because, like, Haichi, guys, Haichi. Anyway, Buitepo's like, listen, it's giving fake, it's giving phony. Buitepo then also says that, you know, Makumo wants to hear about other people's business, but she doesn't want to share anything about her relationship. And so she's side eyeing her. Well, she actually didn't say that. What did she say? Because I wrote it down in my notes. Oh, she says her ability to lie with a straight face. Buitepo says that about Makumo is a problem for her. So I was just like, okay, those are very pointed words, but all right, girl, if that's your observation, and says that because, you know, Makumo's sort of being cagey about whether her and Tabang have had sex. But this is what I want to say, okay? And I'm going to say this again because I'm going to do my review of the previous episode as well. We tap Luwena girl, like the way that you are asking these questions, I think you think that you're kiking and kakaing with your friends that you've known for years. These other three women are actually essentially strangers. You've had conversations here and there. And now when it's lights, camera, action in their faces and you're asking them like, did you bang, brah? Why do you think that people are going to just openly want to talk about it the way that you do? If you are free and love talking about sex during the people all over, do you? But Mato Aratwane, also, this is going to be shown in all of South Africa and all of the internets. So, you know, some people don't want their business in the streets, and that is perfectly fine. I think you need to not take it so personal as if it's your job to be the Oprah and the Iyanla of the show. It's okay. When I focus on your relationship, anyway, next scene we go. Makumo is talking on the phone. Le Tabang. Don't know where Tabang is. Somewhere in the bush. She's showing her pictures of nice things. First thing she does is just nagging at him about his clothes being on the floor. I don't know. I don't know, Gil. Like, you know, he's trying to just, I don't know. It just seemed a bit naggy to me, but that's fine. That's where they're at. We can move on. The rest of the scene was boring. Then we go to D, who's having breakfast, Le Kuto. And D's asking Kuto when is she going to meet his daughter, which in my mind, the next thing was, well, when is he going to meet your child? Because, you know, what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. And, you know, then he seemed like he was under pressure by the question. But then he was like, no, you know, you can meet her whenever I speak to her and she's ready for you guys to meet. But it seemed like D was just, I'm going to get a pressure. And once again, I'm confused because you guys are strangers. You're straight. Like, what are we on? Week 2, 3 that you've known this? You're literally strangers. I know that for most of you, I think even all of them, our private parts are meeting doesn't mean that you actually know these people. And then you want to expose them to your children. I'm just failing to understand where the pressure is coming from. Like we are hitting fast forward strong. Anyway, she, at the end of the conversation, it sort of comes out that like, no, she wants to see what his strict disciplinary parenting style is going to actually look like practically, because that's going to help her to make the decision at the end of the day. Okay, that I can hear, that I can understand. Not understanding where the pressure's coming from, because y'all still probably got a couple more weeks to film, but okay, I guess. Next scene we've got is Zitobile going to speak to Buitepo. It's a girls' kiki, go na le di-wine, I'm sure, a charcuterie board that black people of South Africa, I'm pleading. This is a public service announcement. The chokehold that the charcuterie board has on us. Can we please give us as free? You know, most of that stuff we shouldn't even be eating. Soft cheeses, lactose. Put it to the side. That's not what we're here for. Anyway, so Tobile starts talking about the marriage, and you know that she expected things to be a lot easier. It's marriage. But okay, I can understand, because from the outside looking in, none of us actually knows what things are going to look and feel like until you're in it. So she maybe I think she just didn't expect it to be as difficult as it is in the beginning in terms of them coming together. Which for me, is totally girl, I'm not even gonna gaslight you, because I'm also trying to find like where's the compatibility. But as I said, nakikalaka episode 5. So maybe, you know, once I've seen the other episodes and done those reviews, I'll understand where the compatibility that the experts saw comes in, because, you know, good rough, good playery at the moment in terms of why these two people are together. But okay. You know, and then she says that she's, you know, not really used to asking for what she wants. As she says, an asky person, which already for me lets me know that there are a lot of connotations that are negative that she has towards asking for what you want. So I'm not really sure if she is able to express, whether she even knows step one, her own desires, and then is able to express them. Which is what, you know, Pitsepo says, you know, you've got to speak up, you know, ask for what you want, express it to your partner. You'll never know until you ask, which is good advice. But as I said, for me, observing, I think for Zitobile, she seems like communication for her, something shuts her down internally, and I think on a very deep level in terms of her expressing herself. So it's not as simple as, you know, closed mouths don't get fed, say what you need to say. I think what I would like to see, and what I'm not seeing enough of on this show, is the one on one individual personal therapy that I think needs to be happening. Because it's great that they do a couples therapy session, but I think individually there are many things that are coming up for every single person that don't really seem to be get dealt with until maybe then we're at a dinner party, and then but about and you yourself, you know, don't even know how you feel, you haven't thought about it, you haven't really integrated it into your system. So for me, with Sitobile and her reticence to speak up for herself and ask for what she wants, for me that could have been dealt within a therapy session, and I think it would have been a great opportunity. It was a missed opportunity for me in terms of the one-on-one counseling and what this show could be doing for the people of South Africa, so that we can also, you know, see ourselves in some of these people and help us to work through our own issues as well. So I think she could benefit from that, and I'm hoping that in the future there's going to be some counseling, because even as she was talking to Buitepo, you could see that she was struggling to articulate herself, even to tell Buitepo that these are the issues that I'm having, this is what I would like to happen. So I don't think it's something that is particular to Tammy or particular to men that she's in intimate relationship with. I think this is something shuts her down internally, across the board. And so it would be great if they could deal with that in therapy. At the same time, Sebenzile is there with Tammy on the balcony. Tammy is also expressing that, like, yo, my prada, go rough. Sevenzile's advice is basically just like talk to the experts, see what advice they can give you. Let's see what happens. Sound advice, great. One note I am going to make about Sebenzile and Buitepo. It's great. I can see from production, right? Let's use people who are part of the group to sort of elicit some of these deeper conversations and connect with us who's watching at home and also connect with their peers. I can understand why they're trying to use Sebenzile and Buitepo to fulfill that role. However, for me, it would just be nice if they could also focus on their own relationship, because how do y'all have so much time to just be out here supporting? Wonderful, supporting. But where do you get so much time to be supporting other people? When are you guys also interacting and dealing with your own things? Because I don't know, guys, maybe it's my trauma, but like, you guys are also strangers. So there should be some things coming up here as well, instead of, another day in paradise every day, 24/7. Like, some fucking going on here. But okay, it's a long season. Re tla bona ko pele. Next, we have Tabaga Makubo, who are in a therapy session with Anele. I don't know if it's Dr. Anele or Anele, but anyway, I pretty much liked him. He's the same guy that I saw in Kaylee Kumalo's reality show. And he seemed like, you know what? He was actually able to get some breakthroughs. Seemed like a really grounded, good therapist. So I enjoyed him on that show. Here, I don't know, Anele, I'm going to, because this is the first time we're seeing the therapists actually interacting in a therapeutic environment with these people. I'm really hoping it's the editing, because some of the things that you are just saying are just like, we're not getting wabona, under the issue, so we can talk about it. But okay, listen, they're squeezing this show into an hour or 45 minutes. I'm just hoping we're gonna see some more impactful work from you. The one good thing that I did like was that he did point out in how Makumo and Tabang were speaking to each other that they have a very confrontational dynamic in how they communicate. And what I found encouraging was that Tabang actually then agreed with Anele, and they were able to actually start having a proper conversation. And for Tabang, he did say that, they both, him and Makumo, use humor as a way of communicating. However, it does become problematic because when things need to get serious, we can't really get to having a deep and meaningful conversation and connection, because it's still hee hee ha ha, and now they don't really know where the line blurs in terms of, we're just being humorous or are we deflecting and not really talking about what's happening. However, this is therapy, we're here to talk about it, but also very difficult to do, pamwa bantu, during, in front of the people and the internet. So um I don't want to be too harsh on her. I don't think it's an easy thing to do, because guys, being in a relationship with just another person with no cameras, gooby, good rough, good tricky. So trying to do this on television and maybe not anticipating the level of vulnerability that's going to be expected from you. And she talks about intimacy and wanting to establish intimacy before sex. For me, whether they've had or haven't had sex, I'm actually not even interested. Who cares? It's between the two of them. But if you want real intimacy, it's intimacy, and we are also here watching into you see. So maybe she just wasn't anticipating that, I could say. Hi, moving along. Next, we see Uzi Tobiles crying in the garden. Production is there. Director's asking her what's wrong. She's telling us she's overwhelmed. Then the crew is like, speak to Tammy about this. And she's like, no, I wanted space to just be by myself, so I could just get back to me again. And they're like, yes, we understand. But speak to Tammy so that we can record. But we understand. Guys, Wait, going to reality TV? I, I don't know. I don't know. For me personally, these people don't have your best interests at heart. Their first priority is making entertainment for television. So, but I mean, she tried. The director was trying to console her, but like the aim was let's console you on camera and just like pull it together enough so that we could just throw you in front of the camera and press record. Eventually, Tammy comes and sits next to her. Toby Lee then starts saying that, like, no, the reason that she's crying is because she saw that Tammy blocked her on his WhatsApp statuses. Girl. Yes, maybe because I'm not like the technology person, I'm not really understanding. DK lady, ka WhatsApp status. Really? Hey, I don't know. I don't, maybe other people. If you understand what this is about, please let me know in the comment section because for me, I, I don't understand unless there was like a bigger fight that like they just cut from this recording. But WhatsApp status, horo blockade, and this is like, what kind of man blocks his wife from his WhatsApp status? You're strangers. Oh my god, these people are strangers. You're just getting to know it. Anyway, Tammy tells her that he blocked her because he knows that she's very sensitive and he just posts nonsense and memes, just nang pilumrao. And he was like, something is going to trigger her and I don't want her to be triggered because clearly I don't know what I'm doing that's going to set her off. So let me just block that. Then she says the other thing she's upset about is that, when she started crying, getting emotional, Tammy was like, this is really going to end up missing my day. There, not the correct reaction to have. Wrong words, wrong response, Tammy. However, the one thing that I can say from observing this, I think she is an emotional person, and I don't say that as a judgment because, sometimes in the society, we like to judge people who are emotional. I don't judge her for that. I actually commend people because now we're supposed to be out here, have it all together, perfect. You don't feel anything. I'm happy that she's emotional. What I would like for her is to have control of her emotions because I think right now her emotions are controlling her. And that becomes a problem where people cannot communicate with you honestly because of the reaction that you're going to have because you're not in control of your emotions. You can feel them, but now they are just running rampant and controlling everybody's responses, controlling the environment, rather than us actually being able to connect. So that is what I would like to say about that. So, Tammy's words, super wrong. But for him, I think he's also not really emotionally connected within himself. So when he sees these tears and these things happening, Naye doesn't know what to do, doesn't know where to start. What is happening? Then what I liked was that they had a very great moment of connection because Tammy himself then starts crying, and says in his diary session that it's not his intention to come off as this abusive person. And, for him, it's actually really concerning because she's crying all the time and that's not what he's trying to do. And, he doesn't think that he's that type of person to hurt somebody and he doesn't want to have a wife who feels hurt all of the time with him. So, Tobile was very touched by his tears. And you could see Shemput, I mean, like he's frustrated, like he doesn't know what to do. But I think it's just an issue of not having the emotional capacity from Tammy's perspective, not having the emotional tools. I suspect this is the first relationship where he's actually ever had to deal with things called feelings head on. And so this is going to be a stretch for him. I think it's a great challenge and a great opportunity for both of them, to find some sort of middle ground. He's shut down and she's overreactive. So maybe they can meet somewhere in the middle with that. Kumo then meets with her aunt, Faith. The only thing I have to say about that, with love, Faith, because beautiful girl, beautiful smile, fraudulent wig. Fraud! Fraud! More! And that's why I don't wear wigs. I don't wear these things look like a lot of work and a lot of maintenance, but yeah, what was happening with the what's the is it the lace or the what? Yeah. Fraud. Fraud, guys. Just kutang miriri. Lokang mropotso, little braids. Artseng modilong when we know we're gonna be on TV. And we don't have a clam squad to do what they're supposed to be doing. Boring. Next. Stomile and Tammy, one of the in therapy with Anele. Sorry if you see me looking down. I'm looking at my notes because I don't wanna make sure I don't forget things. So they're at therapy. Then Tammy is able to express that, like, he doesn't know how to recognize what her emotional needs are and what her desires are. So, that makes him feel like he's just floating out in the middle of nowhere, doesn't know what to do. Adele asks him if he's got anxiety, which, once Dr. Adele explains it to him, then he's like, yes, I do. I'm worried about, how she's going to take every response to every situation. Then Tobile comes out and says that, for her, sex is for Tammy. It's for the marriage, just to, be holding things together, and that she's not really interested in the sex that's happening. And I thought this was once again another missed opportunity, particularly from Anele's side, because I think we need to dive deeper into that because, his diagnosis was that, she's putting a lot of pressure on herself, she's thinking too much, and she just needs to be. All of those things are wonderful things to say, but like you're not giving her any diagnostic tools to assist in that because number one, and I think I've had this thought before and I could be wrong, but like, guys, maybe Zitobile is asexual. Why are we not exploring that and asking deeper questions? Maybe there's sexual trauma there as well. Like, I just feel like the therapy is very surface level for me, and like I don't want to be coming for therapists and other practitioners because I know I'm also out here, I'm a coach, and not every session is going to go perfectly. You're not always going to say the right things. Sometimes you go down, this road when we should have been going down that road. But it just feels very surface level for me. And I think as therapy, when we're dealing with people in relationships who are undertaking something as huge as marriage, we just can't be on the surface level anymore. There was so much more, I think, that is informing Zutobile's beliefs around sex and marriage and even the expectations around being a wife and marriage. And we're not getting to that. You're just telling her to be herself. Maybe editing. But I guess we move along. Then we have a girls' night out. They get invitations. Girls are being invited to a divine feminine. If I hear those two words together, divine feminine and divine masculine. Because actually, when you get into those spaces, like tonight, no psychological safety. We're not even centering ourselves. We are not getting in tune with ourselves. We're just whipping out dildos and flexing about how much sex we're having with our partners. Anyway, girls go to, yes, they have it with Dr. Zelda. It's basically a sex workshop, which I have some thoughts about. And one of them is that why was this not a co-ed event? Because my issue with it only being something that the women discuss makes it feel like once again it is the women's responsibility when it comes to a relationship or a marriage to keep things hot, to keep things fresh, to keep things sexy. For me, this should have been co-ed. Really share really together, the sex toys, for baby, this is the one, how it's a so, Linda gets a so, how Linda get e. We're just, for me, perpetuating some stereotypes here that I don't particularly like, but that's just me personally. Some of the ladies seem to love it, but once again, I think, question and answer session was happening. And even Dr. Zelda was like, guys, open up, speak up. But it's like, Dr. Zelda, when did you create the container and the safety within this container for this therapy that you're trying to do your sex? When? These people are strangers, and she's like, she's hoping this type of exercise at the end, she says she hopes this exercise is going to breed connection and intimacy. What did you do to facilitate the creation of connection and intimacy there? These people are strangers. You could see Tobile was so uncomfortable. She's being singled out once again as the super conservative person, which for me is bringing her more into her shell. There's nothing wrong with people being conservative. There's nothing wrong with people not wanting to talk to strangers about their sex lives. Like, what have we done, guys, as the production crew and the facilitators and practitioners of therapy to just create bonding with these 8 people? So that they would be then able to open up and talk to each other about very personal things. Nah, as a viewer, I'm also just like, I wouldn't talk about some of the stuff with these people. Like, I see you once every couple of days when somebody leaves an invitation at my door and tells me I need to be somewhere for something. Like, anyway, the guys then go to a cooking class with the chef. Forgot her name, not even in my notes. Beautiful lady, beautiful. You know, she's got the face beat, she's got the wig, got a snatched little body, titties out. And I was like, this is a setup. Yo! They set these men up. Habotoko. To give them such a gorgeous chef. You know, who was the one? It was even Tabby. Tabby, you could see when he looked at her and he was like, yeah. Because unfortunately, the men seemed stiff during this exercise and answering questions because they just bedazzled with the beauty. And I was like, production, this was a setup. This was a scheme that Todd put together to come with the bullshit. Ayo. No, 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 no. I get the intention. Wrong chef. Like, or like, if she had come out in her chef's clothes, different story. Girl was dressed ready for the club and like, no shade, girl. Got a snatch body. We love it for you. Beautiful. However, what is the intention of the session? What are we trying to get out of the session? Because if the intention was to make the men feel uncomfortable and us as well as we watched, then like mission accomplished. But if the intention was them to actually make like food and cocktails with this aphrodisiac, what, I don't know, latte somewhere there on the road. Then what else happened? I think that's about it, hey? Yeah, that's about it for today's episode. Next week looks like it's gonna be fine. When things start falling apart, we just cookies crumbling a little bit next week. There's a bit of conflict, and I don't say that because I want to watch some mess on television. But this is where I'm really hoping we're going to start getting into the meat of like relationshiping and conflict resolution. And it is my hope and my prayer that these therapists are going to come with some skills and some tools that we can all learn from in terms of how we actually navigate these conflicts and what is causing the conflicts, because there's family meetings, the crisis on the other side, sure, but we're going to see when we get to it next week. So thank you. If you made it to the end of this, like high five, because I'm only realizing now how long I've been talking for. And you know what? Maybe this is just it. Long form video content, people looking for like 5-minute TikTok videos, you're at the wrong place. Those who can stick it out and stick it through. I hope you're entertained and I hope you enjoyed it. And it really is my intention to make more of these with shows that I watch. So please, somebody's going to be asking me for other things that I don't watch. If I don't know about it, I'll check it out. But I'm here to enjoy myself too, okay? As I enjoy myself, you enjoy myself. It comes through in the commentary. I'm hoping and wishing as well. So like, subscribe, share with your friends, with your enemies, with your colleagues at work, every boot. And go out in the world and spread love, not hate.